And of course, welcome back. News Hour continues. Midiwo, former game member of parliament, joins me in studio together with Midiwo Muluka, regular contributor right here on News Hour. Gentlemen, thank you for coming. And let me begin with the first question. I know you're both not members of the Jubilee party, but I have to ask this question. Jacoya, he says the party is strong. Jubilee party is strong. Where do you see that strength?
Which is Jubilee party? The one of Ruto or the one of Uhuru? Ken, treating Kenyans trivialities at such an important time of BBI, Kenyans want to move on. What we're trying to clean up is indecency in political parties, in politicians. Hopefully, in a few more years down the line, we will not have indecent politicians and political processes. I think, I was listening to Tuju, and some things are just not newsworthy, quite frankly. Even to say on air, without answer, that he knows one side got 46%, the other one got 54%, and then he walks out of the studio when you're done with him. Untruths. Kenyans know people were in Supreme Court. Even the server has never been open. And hence the handshake. The handshake was not because the president wanted to help the other 46%. The handshake was because nobody won the elections, and Kenyans saw the need to begin anew. So all these parties, all of them are indecent. They are messy, and I'm sure sooner or later they will reorganize to look like real institutions funded by public funds.
Unfortunately, there's no provision for organizing of political parties in the BBI, which we're talking about next. But I'm just wondering, perhaps he was referring to the first election that was disputed, where it wasn't a clear win. And obviously, the country was also split at that time. So give or take, those people who voted for Raila Odinga, people who voted for Uhuru Kenyatta, but it wasn't clear. Perhaps that was the reference, Jacoy.
Well, it could have been the reference, but the Supreme Court ordered IBC to open the server. Where is that server kept, by the way? Kenyans don't know.
It's in France.
It's in France.
Yes.
Who sent it to France? It was made to make us have no elections. So I think I liked the part where Tuju said the South African president urged him that people need to dialogue more.
Yes.
I think we need to say that where we have come, and we have come very far, we have made tremendous achievements and progress, but this is as far as we can go with this, with mediocrity and indecency. So it's good to have a national conversation. We probably need to begin, and it didn't have to be in the BBI.
Yes.
It would have been okay if it was, but Kenya must change how we arrive at our leaders. Kenya must change that process. Kenya must change and make it a responsibility of the political parties to take responsibility where they wrong Kenyans. But I think part of our biggest problem is the political parties in this
political
country.
parties in the country.
Yeah.
As I said, unfortunately, there is not that place. Perhaps political parties are organized.
Yeah.
Barack, same thing. The party is strong. Just wondering which one? Jubilee for President Kenyatta, which he says is no split, or Jubilee for the Deputy President? Your view of how strong the Jubilee party is? I know you're not a member of the Jubilee party.
Yeah, but I'm a Kenyan who is being governed by a Jubilee party government. So Jubilee party-led government, and therefore I legitimately qualify to comment on matters Jubilee. But ahead of that, I had Honorable Midiwo wondering how Raphael Tuju could make some pronouncements and then just walk out of the studio. I don't know whether he expected Mr. Tuju to be arrested for making those pronouncements. Maybe he will tell us a little more. But Ken and viewers, you know very well that there are no political parties in Kenya. We have got seasonal formations of a political nature that essentially serve the role of shopping around for elections, and after elections, they lose their raison d'etre. They no longer can justify themselves. That's why for a very long time, since I think the past now 4 elections, we have not had the same political party running, the people who run for political office being in the same political party. The formations and the individuals may be the same, but you find that there are always very different arrangements, even where they take the character of coalitions. They have been very different from NAC to PNU to ODM Kenya to Jubilee Alliance to CORD Alliance to National Super Alliance to Jubilee Party.
Okay.
They are special purpose vehicles. They are not political parties, which you could say have got a certain ideological orientation, which you could say mass movements for purposes of acquiring and exercising responsible power. And therefore, it shouldn't surprise us that the Jubilee Party is in the process of disintegration.
Okay. And that's where Jakoyo comes in with the need to clean political parties. Unfortunately, I say again, there's no place for that. It will have to be the political parties that need to be reorganized. Gentlemen, let's talk about what happened yesterday, the Super Tuesday. Barack, was it a Super Tuesday?
Yes, I was here with you at this time exactly 1 week ago, and I told you that it was going to go exactly the way it has gone. And I'm not surprised at all that that is the turn of events. Kenyans have a good appetite for inducement, and whether Raphael Tuju wants to accept it or not, the timing of the car grant was perfectly wrong, and it's going to be very difficult to persuade me that the voting that we are seeing is not a factor of inducement.
Yeah.
I would really want to think otherwise, but I'm not capable of separating the two. Okay. I'm also aware that I saw the EACC summoning some people from Baringo County, MCS, apparently because of that assembly having rejected the BBI bill. I do not know what kind of impact that may have had on MCS elsewhere. I'm waiting for the day when in my country we will be able to undertake a political process that is completely above board, and we can be satisfied that there was no undue influence.
Are you saying, if I hear you correctly, that that summoning that was later retracted could have played a part to what happened yesterday?
So if someone shows you a knife or a gun, it doesn't matter that they retract it and put it away. They have shown it to you, and if there are other people in situations similar to yours, you are already marked as a dangerous person with a dangerous weapon.
Okay. All right. Jakoyo, is there a way that the inducement, as they call it, the car grants, tilted the scales to favor the proponents of the BBI, or do you think this was decided when it was proposed that we are going for a constitution and the counties have to consider the bill?
Well, first of all, let me put my brother Barack in comfort zone that I am not, I didn't want Raphael Tuju to be arrested. I posed a rhetorical question because when Ken was sitting with him alone, I should have asked him, where do you get your figures? So I was actually talking to Ken, not Raphael. Because when you say the NASA got 46%, and then Jubilee got 54%, Why not ask him, where are the figures from? Because we would be interested.
We don't know them. Okay.
Yeah, so no hard feelings with him. He's my friend nowadays. But this car grant thing, hasn't it been an issue to resolve since 2013? If you have an MCA, Barack, I want to put you in your comfort zone. If you have an MCA that you know, the car that they bought in 2018 is the same one they used to go to the assemblies and funerals and all that. They're saying MPs get these things and some MPs go home once every 2 months. You know, if we want to make our countries, we must accept that democracy is expensive. Now that somebody is radicalizing our youths using with wheelbarrows and all that, if the government was going to give it in a month, why not give it now so that MCAs are comfortable,
okay,
and then they vote? Because they're going to get it anyway. Why is the...
I think the reason, Jacoy, is the timing.
Yes.
The reason is the timing. I think the more concern is about the timing.
Yeah.
If it's an issue since 2013.
Yeah.
I think 2018, during another meeting, they asked the president, I think it was in Mombasa, if I'm not wrong, but I stand to be corrected, and he said, hiyo mtachia SRC, sio kazi yake. And now, the question is about the timing.
SRC had already okayed it, except the law was not in place. So it was changed from a loan to a grant.
Conveniently.
Yes, convenient. That is true. You know, one wrong thing with our politicians and the Kenyans is a hypocrisy.
Okay.
Exactly. If the government is pushing, the government is pushing BBI, the government is going to give these people this money anyway.
Okay.
Why let the people who are opposing BBI and don't mean well for Kenya, convince them, otherwise, give them, let's move on, so that what happened is what I will do. I mean, the government did not approve the grants to the MCAs. The government, SRC did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Ken Mijongo, I think you are going first of all to bring a bell and a clock so that the time is shared.
You have equal time to speak.
Proportionately. But, you know, I'm a lover of rational debate, not phrase-mongering and pushing around of hackneyed expressions. A country whose youth can be radicalized by being given a wheelbarrow is a country whose topmost political leadership has got to be pitied. How does a country get to a situation where a wheelbarrow becomes something that has got to be celebrated? And it is even tenfold pathetic when in that kind of country there is an important process and motion that is going through the processes in various legislatures. And those who sit in those legislatures are given inducement. The timing of this thing is completely wrong. And Mr.
The timing of the BBI or the wheelbarrow, please clarify.
The timing of the so-called car grant.
Or car grant, okay.
If you have wanted something from me for a very long time, and I have always resisted, then I want something from you, and I tell you that now, in fact, you can also get this something that you've always wanted from me. It doesn't matter what language, in the Luo, in Gikuyu, in English, in Latin, it is called an inducement, it is called a bribe.
So the problem you have...
That we cannot run away from.
Okay. The problem you have is not with the giving, the problem you have is with the timing, if I hear you correctly.
It's with the timing.
Okay. You don't have a problem with them getting it.
And remember this also, that Lynn Mengich, who is said to be the one who made these approvals, was very clear that this particular grant is limited to the current MCS.
Yeah.
It's not going to be extended to future MCS. Why? Because it is a bribe.
Jacoy, settled.
Well, first of all, my brother Barak, you can't say I am a heckler, then you use...
I didn't use the word heckler.
Well, the difference is...
Heckler, I said hackneyed.
Well, but what's the difference? What is the reason hackneyed?
Hackneyed, these trite, tired expressions that are picked up in the streets that don't signify anything.
But that's what hecklers use.
Well, that's what they do in the streets.
That's what they do in the streets.
Then in English, they say if the cap fits you, you don it.
No, just listen. You know, you can scare others, not this one. This one is a bit polished. Trust me. You know, there's a lot. There's some of us who admire your debate, but probably don't admire your political movement behaviors. So, you know, there's so much to say about people on the other side. So it's good to respect each other. Let me say something, Ken, about this car grant thing.
Yes.
I have not said here that it wasn't an inducement. But I say if we have to induce people to get a good law, if it was going to happen anyway, the president has already acceded to it. SRC has already approved it. I think it's wrong to criticize everything, even where there's a bigger thing. Let us talk about BBI. Let's see is it good for our people? Is it bad for our people? Can it help our situation? Can it help us keep this country together? Does it have good content in it? I thought at this level we can, you know, engage at that way.
But Jacoy, do you believe the BBI is the antidote? Do you believe lack of the BBI, let me reframe it, lack of BBI is why we have been the way we are? Do you believe that is the real reason? Because I can take you back to 2002, how Kenyans were optimistic.
Yeah.
We didn't have the 2010 constitution then, and Kenya ran very well. We saw what was happening in the public domain. We saw what was happening in the private sector. When Kibaki came in, we didn't have the BBI, we didn't have the handshake until 2007 when things changed. But in your opinion, is that what we've been lacking since 2007? To now we're in 2020, now that we are going to 2021, now that you think this is what is going to address what's ailing this country for the last 15?
I think you have raised a very valid question. The reason why people were so enthusiastic in 2002 was because we gave them the promise of jobs and constitutional reform. Remember what happened a few days after the swearing in of the cabinet ministers? The people who were dancing were saying, now we are in the office. If you want to see the president, meet him in State House. The people, and remember there was a rally in Kiambu where Paul Muite said that Raila knows how to make the president. We know how to protect the president. So they shortchanged us. You know, hence the loss, massive loss by Kibaki in 2007. Now, we then, in 2007, blood was spilled. There was the coalition government. When we got the coalition government, we got a new constitution. Ken, the problem with our new constitution, of the current constitution, is that you cannot have a scenario where you have a new document and the person, the most energetic person who opposed it becomes the deputy president of the country. Because then, right there, you have put a break on the implementation of the good document of the 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barak.
As I said, I love a rational and logical conversation. And I want to agree with my brother Jacoy Midiwo, who stated at the very beginning that there was a problem with something called the server. And he was asking where that something called the server is. Up to this moment, we don't know where it is. This country has had repeated cycles of violence that come at election time. And 2007, 2017 stand out as very bad years. And while I do not wish to run down the BBI bill and the BBI reports, the two of them, I am still disturbed as a Kenyan that I have not seen anything in the BBI that talks about how to heal the electoral-related challenges, the violence that comes with elections. I have not seen anything in the BBI that talks about servers. What should happen if the IEBC refuses to open the servers? I have not seen anything in the BBI that tells us how to manage a stolen election.
Okay.
Jacob Midiwo says, and I want to concur with him, that in 2007, the victory of President Mwai Kibaki was in doubt. And so too was that of President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2017. Some would even say 2013. Mm-hmm. We have not seen how that is going to be healed. It is okay to expand the executive. I have no challenge with that, no problem with that, because what one team can do with that expanded executive, another team can do. But what happens if one team of 5 feels that the election has been stolen?
So number 6 comes from nowhere.
Will we not go back to the same situation as we have had? These are some of the things that, as Barak, I imagine, people have been saying, let us discuss this a little more.
I thought the expanded executive was supposed to mitigate the winner takes it all, which has been always the reason why everyone wants to be the winner. So when they know I lose, and I lose fairly or I lose unfairly, I shall have a position, so it makes them a little comfortable. Is that not part of the solution to this?
When people were fighting after the election results had been announced, they were not saying that you have taken everything and we are remaining without anything. Mm-hmm. I heard them saying the election has been stolen. So are we hearing now that it doesn't matter even if the election is stolen?
At that point.
Provided that we are all going to be included.
Jacoy, I need to end this debate unless you have something on
what I was going to say, it does not need 30 seconds.
Just proceed. Yeah.
What I want to say is that, why we fight is people of minority tribes in these countries have no chance. So they run to the bigger, stronger tribes with the imagination that they are going to, protect them in power, either to help their people or to the government, when it is corrupt, could be part of the corruption, partake. Really, what is happening in this country is this issue of winner take all. Somebody goes there, and the rest of the country is left. So everybody runs to them to go and kneel down. Mm-hmm. We have in the current constitution a scenario where people should make coalitions before or after the elections. If that will happen, these people who definitely will have had a coalition, because I cannot be the president coming from Luo Nyanza, and any of those positions are occupied by somebody from Luo Nyanza. It will go to another brother of mine from Rendile.
Okay.
So give people opportunity.
All right.
Because what we are fighting for here, we are fighting for one very so special position, because what has historically been used to do by the occupiers of that office.
Okay. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, and look out for our video at the end of this show because you really want to see what's on that video. But gentlemen, let's talk about something else that is happening in the country. I have seen the grilling by the public PIC, Investment Committee, on the KEMSA. While the president promised 21 days of investigations, it's more than 8 months, I think, if I'm not wrong, 8 months of investigations. Secondly, we have seen the kind of people who appear before PIC. You have been a member of parliament and perhaps you have sat in one of those key committees. It's a circus, to say the least. From where you sit, gentlemen, let me begin with Barak, the kind of investigation that is going on in Parliament and the fact that even disclosing the shadowy owners of these companies have become difficult. Is it time that we just abandon the whole exercise and accept who we are?
You know, we are a country of thieves, and we are people who love freebies. We are a country of dishonest people. This thing that is happening in KEMSA is what has brought up what are called COVID billionaires. We have seen people appear before the parliamentary committee, and we have seen that some of them walked in and walked away with tenders worth hundreds of millions of shillings. And they are telling us that they cannot even remember the names of their partners, the signatories, the banks. And these are people who are politically correct. We are aware that some of the people who sit on the committee that is supposed to be investigating have been fingered in these processes. So we are a country that has values which an insect has eaten. It is going to take us a very long time to get out of that.
Okay. Jacoya, one of the things that will be used to judge this government of Jubilee at the end of the term is, of course, their record. There's been a lot of scandals during this time. Now we see this others. It's the latest, but there might be others in the offing. We have about 18 months to go. When you look at what's happening in Parliament, and you have been a member of Parliament, what concerns you most with the fact that blatantly they go before the committee and they're unable to state anything, and it goes round and round the whole day, then we are told nothing, and the following day they still talk about other people, and we know how records of Parliament also, they talk about implement this, they give prepositions or positions, but we never see the implementation. Should we just close the door and forget about this?
Well, Ken, Barak is spot on. But might I go further to add that these people are known. You know, just KEMSA is, it's not just a place anybody can walk into and do those things. All of us would be doing those things. The president came out and said, give 21 days.
Yes.
He just didn't know that there are people around him. They are known. And I can tell you, crime never dies. Criminals die. And we know them. We know our people are suffering. And we tell our people, I tell our people myself, that Kasa Kamba. You know, when you see somebody walking from Kawangware to industrial area, to go look for a job which may not be there that day. They have a family. But in this country where there can be a billionaire in a couple of minutes, there is no road, there is no hospital, there is no school fees, there is no food, there is no everything to the people who pay taxes. You know, those people that you see walking on the streets, they are the people who pay taxes. This is probably one of the only countries where people go to the office using luxury cars and don't pay taxes, and the people who walk barefoot pay taxes.
Okay.
This is a very serious issue that we must confront as a people.
How do we confront it? Because my question is, look at what Parliament is doing.
Yeah.
Look at that exercise. And I'll take you back to the probe on NYS. There were recommendations that were made in Parliament. What should we do? Should we continue this circus and waste more money or accept who we are? What will be your near solution, Jacob?
Mine is to continue on the path of reform. Whatever BBI can give us, take and move with it, but continue reforming this country. I am happy about one thing, though. Something I was so opposed to for so many years since Jubilee took power was the using retired generals everywhere. Now I'm so pro that thing, because where these generals have been, look at NIS. Since Gishangi was there, since Kameru has come, Al-Shabaab attacks are very rare. The threats on the streets are not there. Look at NMS. You can now, people are beginning to jog in the estates because of the things he's trying to do. Just fund him. Because this thing of using politicians and friends of politicians is our problem. We have already diagnosed the problem.
Let's treat it.
Just keep on the treatment. For example, Ken, as I finish, what would stop our country or Nairobi NMS from making a contract with NYS? The government keeps talking about youth employment. Make NYS a place where you keep people and you train them, and counties can hire, cities can hire. Then you stop giving that money to NYS as a budget. Save this money and do something else with it. But keep these boys and girls working. That is how Mao Zedong changed his world. That is how most of the Asian tigers changed their world, by engaging their people.
All right. I have one more question for you, gentlemen, but Barack, on this issue, what would be your solution to this perennial back and forth with these tenderpreneurs?
Jerry Rawlings. You know, Jerry Rawlings came to power in 1979. If I can take a step further what my brother Jacob Midiwo is saying about the people we are seeing now bringing efficiency. And he rounded up all these fellows, took them to the beach, and placed them before a firing squad. That is the only thing that will work one of these days. Because Jacob Midiwo suggests, and I agree with him, that let us continue with the reform. But the reforms are failing us. You get to the judiciary, you find it's also
cartels failed.
So you don't get anywhere. And if we don't reform, one day a Jerry Rawlings will come and he will just round up all these fellows, take them to Uhuru Park, firing squad.
We don't even have to go that far. The president asked during the anti-corruption summit at State House, mnataka nifanye nini, and gave that example, mnataka niwapeleke Uhuru Park. But see what President Kagame has done just in the neighboring country, even jailing his brothers. Gentlemen, I have a few minutes, but I have to ask this question. Now that we've talked about corruption, at the end of the Jubilee term, William Ruto will be on the ballot, Raila Odinga could be on the ballot, many other people will be on the ballot, and one of the things that they'll be judged with is the record, especially for the Jubilee government. My question to you tonight, gentlemen, is if there is a fall, who takes it? Does it go with President Uhuru? And if there is success, who takes it? Do they both take it now that we know the House is divided? Let me begin with you, Jacob.
There will be no success, might I tell you. 14 months to the exit of Uhuru, I think 16 months. What can be done? He must just stay this course of setting up the framework for the future leaders to begin to do the things that we must do. You asked about entrepreneurs. Ken, how is it difficult to stop entrepreneurs? You know, one of the major issues that has failed counties is not that the governors are corrupt, but in these counties, you find that the money has gone there. Somebody without any technical skills is now a road contractor. What do you expect? I mean, if the planning is bad, the investment is bad, because of something called procurement rules, why can't we say that contractors must be technical? It is so easy to cure, but if a shoe shiner, and I'm not demeaning them, because he is the brother of the governor, he now wants to become a contractor and gets most of the jobs. That is the result you will get. Look at what Governor Kimemia is doing. They put and roll. Look at what Governor Oparanya is doing. If they put this maram and roll it.
Okay.
You can only do that if you're a technical person. Yeah.
All right. Barak.
You see, Ken, there's very little to call success, because success is measured by the instrument of human development. And you check where Kenyans are today, things move steadily from bad to worse. The head of state, of course, takes the ultimate flak, as Harry Truman used to say. The buck stops here. But it goes with him and with everybody around him, whether they are people who are there rightly with him, as elected with him, or whether they are people he has invited into his government to work with him, whom we sometimes don't know whether they are in government or they are in the opposition. And here I'm looking at all of them. I'm looking at the president, who has his deputy, who has his cabinet, who has got people in the opposition he has invited to work with him in government, and he invites them to send him names and CVs, whether they are Mudavadi, whether they are Kalonzo, whether they are Roitangula. And it's a hodgepodge of things that we don't know. In the end, all of them
take it.
Take it.
So the winners will take it, the losers, they all take it. Gentlemen, thank you. I'll give you 30 seconds to comment about this video. Let's now play the video of the week. I promised this video.
First and foremost, this issue of coronavirus, it has created a number of things here. Some people are mocking us. That reggae has been stopped. According to me, I know reggae is still on. Reggae is going on. And if this thing can touch Raila Odinga, we are going to, this country should be disbanded and everybody should go home. If at all it can touch Raila Odinga, Uhuru has done little. He's the president, he allowed those people to get in, contrary to our wishes. And they cannot tell us anything more than that. You understand? We are still here, and we are waiting for coronavirus. And BBI is alive. Whether William Ruto, you can only stop reggae, you can stop the rhythm, you can stop the style, but you cannot stop the message. The message is still on. Yes, and reggae is strong. We are waiting for those people and the virus. We want to take some things like alcohol and whatever. You understand me? But another thing, we are waiting for. Landlords should also not come. They should go home. They should be put under quarantine. This is the best part of our life. We are not going to meet them.
Well, that guy, I don't know his name, but that video cracks me. Gentlemen, we have 30 minutes. I think I don't even need to give you time. That was self-explanatory. Reggae, and yes. Reggae is on. We just brought it because they're celebrating. Jacob Midiwo, thank you very much. And of course, Barak Muluka, always a pleasure. Let's take a look at what we have in the newspaper tomorrow. Look at this headline. When I am elected, or if I am elected. The headline, we're waiting for it. All right. That's Raila Odinga. Headline tomorrow, the Standard, Raila Odinga, if I am elected. And he says there the reasons why. And of course, the BBI has passed. They say it's a first step. Let's see what happens.